All right. So, sorry my video's not working right now. This is Danny. I'm filling in for Trisha tonight. Any of those who don't know me, I'm I'm the back side of Trisha, or the other half, or the one who's not seen, or whatever. So, anyways, great that all of you can make it tonight. We've got a great guest here tonight, Zach Slobin, and I met Zach, I think, 2 years ago in St. Thomas. And anyways, he's Trisha and I have been following him, and what he and his wife do, and just an amazing couple. Some great advice. We got to hang out with them at Top Achievers in Maui not too long ago, and again, just amazing. So I hope everybody's got notepads. There's a chat open. If you have questions, please feel free to ask, or to use that to kind of communicate with each other. And with that, I think I'll let Zach take it away. And you good to go, Zach?
I'm here, man. Thank you so much for the introduction. And I'm also here with, this is Coco. I'm at the home of Bobby and Michelle Schaefer, who are amazing top producers of Isogenics. And I'm at their house because we're leaving on a road trip tomorrow morning. Eden and I are going to Yosemite up in the mountains for like 7 days. They're off at a fitness class, and I'm here with Coco. So say hi to Coco, everybody.
Hey, Coco.
And I think so if you guys are excited on Zoom, and I think if you're not muted, if you can mute somebody has some background noise. All right, good. Thanks for that, Danny. So if you guys are excited, the best way to, instead of clapping or anything like that, is just to wave like this on the screen. If you guys are excited for tonight, just wave like this. Just wave like this. All right, awesome. Glad you guys are all excited. And there's a saying that I love that I've had for a very, very long time, that there's never enough time to do everything, but there's always enough time to do the most important thing. How many of you would agree with this? Just agree with that. Just shake your hands. Right? There's never enough time to do everything. There's always enough time to do the most important thing. And so I just want to honor you for doing what you feel is the most important thing you could be doing for your life, for your business, and for your legacy by taking the time to be here either tonight or if you're in Oz this morning or this afternoon, depending on where in the world you are. Before I get started, Danny and Trish, I know Trish isn't with us tonight, but thank you guys so much for putting this together. We're honored to be able to participate and serve the community at large. Now, before I go on, let me ask a quick question. Show of hands, how many of you know who I am? Go like this. Wave your hands. How many of you guys know who I am? Okay. How many of you don't know who I am? Go like this. Okay, awesome. How many of you don't care who I am? Go like this. Okay, great. Awesome. And so, because it looks like the majority of you are familiar with me, I'm not interested in sharing too much of my story tonight. My story doesn't really matter, quite frankly. There's recordings of it. My story is irrelevant. What matters tonight is your story, the story that you're telling yourself, and where you are right now. My job right now is to serve you guys. So if it's okay with you, what I would love is to have your permission to coach you tonight. Would it be okay? Do I have your permission to coach you tonight? If I have your permission to coach you, just go like this. Okay, sweet. Thank you for that. And many of you, some of you have experienced my coaching already. It's probably best described as tough love. Tough love. And I want you to know that tonight I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to stretch you. I'm going to ask you to kind of go into parts of yourself that you probably aren't overly excited about going into. And if that's something that you're cool with, then just chat yes. Type yes in the chat box. Say, yes, I'm ready to play. Yes, I'm ready to play full out. Because I can sit here and I can talk with you, but ultimately this training is not for me. This training is for you. And I'm just here to serve you guys. So if you're ready, say yes. And everyone's saying yes, and that's awesome. And I want to know that you're going to play full out. Play full out tonight. So if you're ready to play full out, then say yes. Play at 100%, say yes. It's so important because everything about what we do in life is about an equal energy exchange. I can only be a vehicle for you if you're willing to drive me as a vehicle. Does that make sense? I can only be a vehicle for you if you're willing to drive me as a vehicle. So what I'm going to share with you tonight is a tool. It's a technology. It's a strategy. And I like, of those three words, tool, strategy, and technology, my favorite of the three is technology. Because how many of you would agree that technology can make our lives easier? Would you agree that it's easier to download music because of technology? Would you agree that it's easier to communicate with people all over the world because of technology, right? And we utilize technology all the time to make our lives more convenient. And so what I'm going to offer you tonight is a technology to make your life more convenient, and it's a technology that you already possess. And what I'm going to offer you is something that is the combination of minds far greater than my own. All I've done is systematize something. I've codified something to assist you in going from where you are to where you deserve to be in your lives. How many of you guys can get excited about that? Sweet. Coco's really excited. Coco's like shaking. And so tonight, as promised, what we're gonna cover is we're gonna cover limiting beliefs. We're gonna cover that conversation that you have in your head, that lie that you're telling yourself in whatever capacity it is that's preventing you, or you think is preventing you from creating the results in your life and in your business that you deserve. And here's what I know: whatever is preventing you from creating results in your business isn't just showing up in your business, it's probably showing up in other areas of your life. And so what we have the opportunity to do this evening is we have the opportunity to cut the head off the snake. How many of you guys like the idea of that? Sweet. Now, here's what I want you guys to get. What I want you to get is that you've so far heard from Hayden Vavra, who's an incredible trainer, who's making over $1 million a year. You've heard from my wife, Eden, who's likewise an incredible trainer and who's earning a multiple six-figure income. And tonight you're going to hear from me. And you're going to hear next week from Emily, and you're going to hear from Ben Kelly, and you've heard from Trisha, who's doing an amazing job hosting this. And what I want you to get is that before we were who you think we are, before we were who you think we were just like you. And even as I sit here speaking with you, not to you or at you, but with you, I am still very much just like you. And so I want you to know that I get what it's like. I get what it's like to be stuck in my head. I get what it's like to be paralyzed in my thoughts. I get what it's like to be broke. How many of you guys are experiencing financial challenges right now? Okay. How many of you would like to have increased finances right now? Okay. Sweet. That was there were a couple of double, raise them up right there. Yeah. Michelle is excited, whoa, let's go. Let's blow the roof off this bad boy, right? How many of you guys have some relationship stuff going on right now that you'd like to clean up? Maybe the relationship is with you. Okay. How many of you sometimes wonder why you're not as far along as you think you should be in isogenics? How many of you guys see all these people that get paraded across stage, they get recognized, they're achieving all these things, they're making all this money, and you're sitting there wondering, why not me? How many of you guys are having that experience? And how many of you are in paralysis from analysis? You're paralyzed because you overthink everything about this. Okay. And so what I want to do tonight is I want to attack, and I mean attack, some of those limiting beliefs. I want to go right at them. Because if you're willing to dive deep and dive quickly, some of the thoughts that you're telling yourself, some of the lies that you have about why you can or cannot do this, you'll see how irrational they are. And that's what we're going to do is we're going to use our rational minds. We're going to use our rational minds tonight to start a new conversation. So what I'd love to know, because you guys agreed to play full out, and some of you can answer this. You don't all have to respond to the chat message. The more of you that are willing to be accountable for it and own it, the stronger your experience will be this evening. But what are some of the big lies that you're telling yourself? What are some of the limiting beliefs? So I'll go first. For years is I did not believe I was lovable if I did not have money. I carried a belief that said, if I don't have money, no one will love me. And so I sabotaged my life. I blew through $80,000 in 6 months just to find out if I was right about that. And I ended up living on my mom's couch, scraping for change. And I was so broke that I would buy cigarettes because it was cheaper to buy cigarettes than it was to buy food. And I knew that cigarettes would suppress my appetite. So I was so committed to being right about not being lovable if I didn't have money that I unconsciously sabotaged a life that was kind of on the upswing. And so what I want to help you do, what I want to assist you in doing is with this technology is get past it so you don't have to create unconsciously. And so you can start to create consciously. So some of the lies are, I don't know how. Fear of rejection. I don't have time. I have too many responsibilities. I can't because I don't have XYZ. They won't believe me because I don't have XYZ. I never see anything through. I'm not smart enough, not important. Great. I don't believe that people will listen to me. Fear of rejection. Okay. Got it. Okay. Sweet. If it's meant to be, it would be easier. I'm not successful enough for them to think they can do it. I'm not original enough or organized enough. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. Sweet. Too assertive. I'm too assertive. I have a fear of rejection. Okay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to play with some technology. I'm going to introduce a technology to you that I created. I'm not a salesperson, thank God. You can be a professional salesperson. Nothing wrong with that. I overanalyze. I have a feeling that I couldn't handle it all. Okay. These are powerful. And for those of you that aren't sharing in the chat box, that's okay. But my bet would be that some of this applies to you as well. I'm confused. I have a broken relationship. I'm overwhelmed. There's the yeah, but syndrome. I see all of them doing it. Yeah, but, right? Yeah, but, you don't understand. Yeah, but, okay. All right, sweet. Okay. So for a long time, people have asked me, I feel like a hypocrite. I don't feel like I'm part of a team. I don't have a community in my city, right? So these are all just limiting beliefs. These are the reasons that we create to not take action, right? These are reasons that we're using to not take action. I'm not a red, and Holly, just to let you know, neither am I. I'm a white. Lynn Hagedorn's a white, just so we're clear. All right. Okay. So I have what many people sometimes don't quite understand when it comes to the way I perceive life. I have a perception that, typically speaking, things aren't that big of a deal. I have a perception that says, you know what? If that thing was going to kill me, if that thing that I thought was going to kill me in the first place, I wouldn't be here. I have a perception that says if I can experience that and then create what I have now, I can do anything. And I also have an experience of life and a perspective of life that says if there are other people whose lives have mirrored or far exceeded the challenges that mine have, and they've achieved the results that I want, then any and all excuses that I have for not achieving go out the window. So I want to say that again. I have an experience of life, and I know you guys do too. I have a perception of life that says if there are people in this world who have experienced challenges as great as, if not greater than mine, and they've achieved the results that I'm seeking to achieve, then any and all excuses that I make become null and void. If you can agree with that statement, just go like this. Because there's evidence. There's evidence beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's evidence. And so people ask me all the time, so how is it that you're so calm? What's the way that it works? How do you do it? And I was sitting in Bali 2 years ago when I finally realized that I actually do have a little bit of a formula. And I've only shared this formula publicly twice. You will be the third group of people who I've ever publicly shared this with. Okay, I use it with my private coaching clients, and I've only shared it twice in a big format like this. So the first time I shared it, I just shared it as a concept. The second time I shared it, I did it with a live audience, and we actually did some work. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to do some work. So if you're ready to do some work, I want you to chat in the sidebar. I want you to chat in the chat box. Chat in the chat box and say, I'm ready to go to work. I'm ready to go to work. Ready to go to work. I'm ready to go to work. There are 110 of you on this. I want to see 110 comments. I'm ready to go to work. Because for all of you that think that there's something that you're missing, there's a secret sauce, there's a skill set, there's something about building an Isogenics business that you're missing, guess what? Go work harder on yourself than you do on your business, and you will become the person that attracts the people that you're looking for to help you grow your business. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business. Now that doesn't mean don't do your IPAs, don't do your calls, don't apply the other things that the other trainers in this thing in OneTeam University are teaching you. But it means you got to go to work. And if that means waking up an hour earlier than you do every single morning to put in 60 minutes of personal development, then that's the time that you get to do it. So if you wake up at 7 in the morning, set that alarm for 6, and for 60 minutes, break it down, pray, meditate, gratitude journal, move your body, do some yoga, visualize, set the intention for the day, go to work every day in every way. I want you to write that down as a new affirmation, because that was one of mine that took me out of that hole that I was in. And I was in a very, very deep, dark hole. I go to work every day in every way. I want you to start to affirm that. I go to work every day in every way. I go to work every day in every way. What does that look like? That looks like I go to work on my faith. I go to work on my fitness. I go to work on my family. I go to work on my finances. I go to work every day in every way, non-negotiably. And it doesn't have to be in a massive way, but it does get to be in a compounding, slight edge way.
The temperature, it goes too hot. Too low.
And we have someone that came off mute. They're just excited, like ready to go to work.
It's at like 3 and 4 in the morning every night. I wake up just.
It's a good conversation. All right.
Really?
Dan, can you feel me out, buddy? Good. Thanks, Danny. All right, I'm back. All right, cool. Now, why did that just happen? Hang on, guys. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of technology stuff going on here. All right. So let's go to work, and let's go to work in a big way. So what I want to invite you to do is I want you to take that limiting belief, and we're going to plug it into the technology. We're going to plug it into my formula. Now, my formula, my technology is called IRIS. IRIS, I-R-I-S. It's called IRIS. Now, in mythology, Iris was the messenger from heaven, she who restored peace in nature. If you utilize this Iris, you can restore peace in your heart and peace in your mind. Sound good? Additionally, the iris in your eye is what brings color to your eye. And by utilizing this iris properly, you can bring color to your life. Life is simply the way that we choose to perceive the events that we are experiencing. I'm going to say that again. In my experience, life is simply the way that we choose to perceive the events that we are experiencing. Nothing more, nothing less. And so the first I, and if you're taking notes, I want you to take notes. The first I. Now, why did that happen? Before I had the whole chat screen on my, all over here on the right-hand side, it was awesome. I don't know why that happened, but all right. Oops. The first I is for, oh, don't maximize. Okay, got it. Ah, sweet. Thank you, geniuses. Thank you, geniuses. The first I is for investigate. Investigate. So when we investigate the belief. And so here's a question that I want you to ask yourself in looking at your belief right now. We're going to work right now on your belief. We are going to attack the belief right now. Whatever you typed in the chat box, whatever it is. That's right, Savers from Miracle Morning. Exactly, similar to that, Ivy. Thank you for that. So I is for investigate. We're going to investigate the belief. Let's take a really broad look at it and ask ourselves the question, is there any rational reason to have this belief? Is there any rational reason for me to have the belief that I don't know what I need to know? Is there any rational reason to have the belief that I don't deserve success? Is there any rational reason to have a fear of rejection? Is there any rational reason to have the belief that you wrote down? And if you want to, you can answer these questions as we go in the chat box, but for sure be writing these down. Is there any rational reason to have the belief that I'm not smart enough? Rational. Like when we really take a step back, really using our conscious mind, is there really any rational belief or any rational reason to believe that I can't finish what I start? Is there any rationality behind that? You guys are welcome to type that in if you want to. No, not really. So it seems like a rational belief. Great. So let's pick that for a second. And you guys, we can interact all night. Totally fine too. So Sarah says it seems like a rational belief because I feel it and I experience it. Awesome. And feelings are a choice. Feelings are a choice. Feelings are a choice. If I really look at it, is there any true evidence to suggest that I don't deserve or have XYZ? And are you truly feeling what you're saying you're feeling, or are you buying into the belief and so that's how you think you're supposed to feel? Is there any rational reason to have the belief? Now remember, we're not arguing whether or not the belief is real for you. What we're asking is there any rational reason to hold on to it? Is there any rational reason to maintain the belief? So now, for those of you that are questioning it, I would invite you in this moment to let go. Stop fighting to be right about why you can or can't do something. Just in this moment, is it even rational to be fighting for your smallness? How do we let go? We're doing it right now. If it's not rational, if there's no rational reason to holding on to it, in what way does this belief serve me? In what capacity does this serve me? You can either own your limitations or allow your limitations to own you. And so if you're fighting for it, then your limitations are going to continue to own you. But if you're willing to look at it and go, there's no rational reason, come here, Coco, I'll push it down. Come here. It's okay. Okay. If it doesn't serve you, then let go of it. Next is R. R is for responsibility. And this one kind of parlays. R is for responsibility. And the big question is this, is are you willing to take responsibility for your life from this moment forward? Are you willing to take responsibility for your life from this moment forward? Because the longer you fight to hold on to this irrational belief, then the longer you're going to play victim to something that doesn't exist. So am I willing to take responsibility for my life from this point forward? Exactly. And Katrina says, my first thought is, oh, heck, that's scary. Well, guess what? unless we're willing to be accountable for the choices that we make and the choices that we've made, we will never create a space for forward movement. Ever. So am I willing to take responsibility for my life moving forward? Am I willing to take responsibility for my life moving forward? And now here's what that looks like. So now, I think we have somebody that came off mute. So now, if I'm having the experience of having this limiting belief, if it's starting to creep up for whatever reason again, I take a step back. Okay, is there any rational reason for me to have this belief? Well, the people in my past, blah, 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 blah. As long as it's something outside of you, that's not taking responsibility. Whatever happened to you happened for you. And so are you willing to take responsibility? Not that some of the things that you've experienced are a good thing necessarily. And how you choose to experience your life today is your choice. So it's time to take responsibility moving forward for the choices that we make and the beliefs that we allow to creep into our mind. Additionally, it means taking responsibility for the people that we allow to be in our circles. It means taking responsibility for the people that we allow to influence us. People get on isogenics to cleanse their toxins from their body. And oftentimes what comes with that has to be a willingness to take responsibility for the idea of cleansing some people from your life as well. A couple of hands went up on that one. A couple of hands went up on that one. You're the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And so someone says it's hard to let go of something that has limited me for so long. And if you say it's hard, then you're right. It's hard. If you say it's hard, then you're right. It's hard. So the next I is for invite. Invite. And so with invitations, it's all in perception, Doris. With an invitation, I want to invite you to ask a new question, and it's a question based on comparison. How many of you have children? How many have children? Okay. And if you don't have children, do you have nieces and nephews? Right? Okay. How many of you see that there are children that exist in the world? Just go like this, right? Okay. So here's what I want to invite you to do. I want to invite you to experience a comparison. If a child came to you and told you that they believe about themselves what you're saying you believe to be true about yourself, would you come to the same conclusion as the child? Would you agree with them? Some of your faces are amazing. I love Zoom because some of you went, oh. If a child came to you right now and said, here's what I believe to be true about myself. Here's what I believe to be true about myself. Would you come to the same conclusion? Would you support them in that? So Michelle, we're talking about the limiting belief. If a child came to you and said, I don't believe that I'm worthy of love. I don't believe that I'm good enough to be friends with everybody in the yard. I don't believe that anyone's going to want to be friends with me. So Olga, here's the question. Here's S. Here it is. Olga, compare yourself to the experience of if a child came to you and said, Olga, I don't believe I'm worthy of being successful because I'm not as smart as the other kids. Would you support the child in that belief? If my children had the same belief in themselves as me, I would be devastated. And so I'm purposely being quiet right now because, as you can see in the chat, there's a lot that's coming up for a lot of people. There's a lot that's coming up for a lot of people. And then there's some of us that are on here that don't have children yet. And maybe, just maybe, just maybe, if we can become the adults in this world that can create the space that says, hey, I'm not just going to tell you that you can do, be, and have everything, but I'm going to show you that you can be, do, and have everything. So going back to I and investigating it. Do you see how these are coming together, guys? Do you see why this is a technology? If you guys can see how this is a technology, say yes or go like this. You guys can see how this is a technology. We're just warp speeding past everything. Because I'm not interested in the whys and the, like the story as a little kid and my mom and blah, blah, blah. We're not doing that. We're taking powerful personal responsibility tonight. Anthony Robbins says it's in our moments of decision that our destiny is determined. You can make the decision tonight that the limiting belief that you wrote in the chat box is 100% entirely, completely irrational, to take complete responsibility for making new choices that support you in your highest value every single day, to take responsibility for the people that you allow to influence you, and then to invite yourself to constantly be comparing yourself to what if a child came to me with this belief. And now last but not least is S is for stretch. Stretch. See, when we stretch, we start to take ourselves into a new realm. We start to take ourselves into a new world. Now, I'm going to flip the script a little bit before we get into stretching. Now, a lot of you have heard the language that everything that you want exists just outside of your comfort zone, yes? We hear a lot about that you have to stretch past your comfort zone. Well, I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and I'm going to challenge the norm just a little bit here because that's just kind of my flavor and that's just how I roll, and I'm totally okay with it. But I totally disagree because I used to buy into it too. I preached it as well. Like, got to get out of your comfort zone. Got to get out of your comfort zone. But let's just be really, 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 really ruthlessly honest with each other tonight. There is nothing comfortable about feeling the feelings that you're feeling right now. There's nothing comfortable about feeling like you're broke. There's nothing comfortable about feeling like you don't have enough time. There's nothing comfortable to feel like you're not living your greatest potential. There's nothing comfortable about not being sure how you're going to pay the rent next month. There is nothing comfortable about any of those things. You spend too much time in your comfort zone. You think. But really, you're in your uncomfort zone. You're in your uncomfort zone. There's nothing comfortable. It's entirely uncomfortable to experience those things. Would you agree it's entirely uncomfortable to experience low energy? It's uncomfortable. I've been depressed. It sucks. There's nothing comfortable about depression. There's nothing comfortable about anxiety.
Hey. Oh, I'm just waxing my legs. I'll come when I'm finished.
All right. Awesome. I think somebody came off mute. And so I really want you guys to get that. I really want you to get that currently you're uncomfortable. And I don't know about you, but I like being comfortable. I've slept on floors of places that you wouldn't want to sleep on. I've showered in showers that you would look at and go, that's disgusting, because that's just where I was in my life and that's just what I had. And so I like the comfort of my bed now. I like the comfort of my shower. I like the comfort of knowing that my car is not going to break down every 5 minutes. So I want you to get really, really ruthlessly real with how uncomfortable you think your comfort zone is. And so let's stretch a little bit. Let's stretch a little bit. This is the S. And this is where you guys can inhale and start to really breathe. And I want you to play full out on this one and answer this question and write it down first and just be with it. If I know that the belief is false, if I know that the belief is false, who can I now become? If I know that the belief is false, who can I now become? No, not anyone you want. Own it. Cohen, Monique, anyone I want. Affirm it. This is yours. It's not for me. If I know the belief is false, who can I now become? Who am I free to become? What am I free to create? If I know that it's a lie, what truth can I tell myself? And so let's take it a notch deeper. So many of you guys are saying, I can become anyone, anything, the person I dream of becoming. Speak that forward. What does that mean? What does that look like? Dora said happier, healthier, more successful, productive. And so here's what I hope you're getting. Here's where I hope there's a light bulb. All the things that you're giving yourself permission to become currently exist in your present state of consciousness. Right now, you have the conscious choice to be, do, and have everything that you're describing right now, because the only thing that's standing in your way, as we've just proven using this technology, is a lie that you've been telling yourself. It's all right there. You decided this. You created this. See, the wall that everyone's looking to break through, all the blocks that we think we have, are very easy to take down when we start to realize that we're the ones that laid the wall in the first place. We're the ones that put each brick there. So I can then identify it and go, oh, that brick doesn't belong there, that 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 doesn't belong there, that's not true, that's not rational, that's not true, that's not rational. And then all of a sudden, I take a moment, I take a deep breath, and I realize that the only thing that's standing in my way is nothing. And for those of you that are in your head right now, for those of you that are in your head right now, for those of you that are consumed by the thoughts, am I doing this right? Just breathe. Just take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath. And let's take the wall thing one step further for those of you that are in your head. If the wall, just get this for a second. Now we're just kind of philosophizing. If the wall is built upon false ideas, if the wall is based on false ideas that we know aren't true, that we can prove like that are not true by just using our rational minds, then the fundamental truth of the matter is, guys, there is no wall. There is nothing to break through. There's nothing to break through. There's no wall. Why would you want to have to break through something? Why do you want to have to climb over something? Why do you want to have to tear something down? All that is so exhausting. And the more time we spend thinking and believing that there's something we've got to do to like break through or tear down or jump over, the more exhausted we become. And we forget that final question. We forget the final question, which is the most important question, which is, if I know that there's no wall, if I know that it's not there, if I know that none of these beliefs are true, who can I now become? We just created open space. And I just want you guys to get, I just want you to get that that's what this is all about, is that there's just so much open space in front of you to create whatever you want to create. And Vasti says, how do we show up authentically? There is no other way for you to show up. It's just who you are. It's just who you are. You don't have to try and be authentic. You don't have to try and be vulnerable. You don't have to try and do anything. You just show up. And P.S., while you're busy worrying about what everybody else is thinking about when it comes to you, I promise you they are not thinking anything about you except for wondering what you are thinking about them. You know, John Maxwell says that a leader knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way. If you guys want to make an impact in your families and in this community and in the world, and maybe your world is small and that's fine, then you got to start walking. You got to start walking. And you got to pretend like every other human being is just like those children. Just like that child. And so the next time that limiting belief comes up for you, find a picture of yourself as a kid. Find a picture of yourself as a kid, as a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 7-year-old, and try and look that kid in the face and say, here, I have a rational reason for this. You won't be able to do it. Yeah, Anna, what John Maxwell says is that a leader knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way, or knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way in some order. So it's 7:45. I just kind of felt like freestyling a little bit tonight. I'm happy to answer a couple questions if you guys want. It doesn't have to be heavy. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be intense. But I'm happy to answer any questions. We can do some open format coaching. Totally up to you or not. The second I was for invite. That's where we're inviting a comparison to a child. And so again, guys, the formula is iris. Formula is iris. See, I really, did someone come off mute? Someone have a question?
Yes, I do.
Okay, hi.
Hi, Zach. I was actually talking today with someone because I've been like so in my head that I just wanted to reach out to this person. And it was perfect. Like, the subject is perfect for me today. So one of the things that I'm struggling with in my business, particularly, is like we don't have a big community going on here in Houston. And I've been always of the mindset, like, well, if we don't have it, I'm gonna create, like, this is gonna happen. I don't need anybody else. We're gonna make it happen. I can envision filling up rooms and impacting so many lives here. But lately it's been I've been struggling a lot with that because it's hard for my community to get traction. So we started good. We had a good group of people kind of showing up, and then it just kind of derailed, right? So that I'm really excited to hear what you have to say on this regard, because really what I need is like what you do, tough love. I need tough love, and I need to get out of my head and just, because I know I can do this, and I know I have a big impact to do around here. And it's just, these things are just in my head, and yeah, that's it.
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde soy? Born in Venezuela.
Okay.
Born in Venezuela, raised in Colombia, and now I'm living here in Houston.
Okay. So show me a Latin American country that was as strong 100 years ago that it is today. And show me a group of people in Latin America that didn't have to fight day in and day out to create what they have in Venezuela right now, or what they have in Colombia. And if they had just stopped, where would you be? See, it's really important. It's really important, Olga, and thank you for being everyone's teacher. Thank you for being everyone's teacher. It's really important that, and this is for everyone, including you, Olga, it's really important that we just take a step back and go, wait a minute. Has it really been that challenging, comparatively speaking? Is this really that hard compared to what some of the people that have come before us have experienced in their lives? Is it really that big of a deal that we fell apart and we have to build back? And more than anything, is here's what I know, is that it means you're on the right path. Nothing great has ever been created without resistance. And that's the part all of you have to get. Olga, you've got to get that nothing great can be created without resistance. Because if we don't have resistance, then we don't know how strong something can truly be. And so what you're doing right now, Olga, is you're laying the foundation. You're laying the foundation. And you're building it brick by brick by brick by brick. And here's one thing I want to offer to you, and this is something you can, when you share your vision of what you're creating, and this is what I share with a lot of people, is Olga, you're not creating a castle, you're creating a kingdom. So the next time you get in that pretty little head of yours, you just stop and go, wait a minute. I'm not creating a castle, I'm not building a castle, I'm building a kingdom. And building a kingdom takes the right type of people with the right type of leadership and the right type of perseverance. All right? And thank you for having the courage to come out.
Thank you. Thank you for your words.
I hope that served you.
Yes, it does.
Sweet. Anybody else want to come out?
Zach, this is Vosti. Can you hear me?
Hi, Vosti.
Hi there. So I've heard you a couple of times talking or saying the phrase of being a certain energy or not being or holding a certain energy. Can you expand on that a little bit?
So if you look at the different energies that we can have, right? So we can experience joy, right? Happiness, disappointment, frustration, anxiety, sadness, depression, despair, right? So there's like this emotional frequency ladder, okay? There's this emotional frequency ladder basically. And so what I'm really talking about is where on the ladder am I, and where on the ladder do I really want to be? And so if I'm down here on the ladder, what can I do right now to create a higher state of energy for myself? Does that answer your question? Does that make sense? I think you muted yourself instead of unmuted yourself.
Okay, and when you talk about creating an energy, like give me an example how you would go about doing that.
Great. So motion creates emotion. So changing my physical state. So exercise, for example. Do you ever notice, Vasi, after you work out, you feel great, you feel energized, right? So something Eden does before getting on the team call, because it's early in the morning, the floors are cold in our place. So she literally rolls around on the floor half naked because the cold tile shocks her body, right? I turn on music. Music is a huge thing for me. So I use music. I anchor. If you ever watch me before I go on stage at an event, you'll see me in the corner listening to music. I pray, I meditate, and then you'll see me start jumping up and down because I'm physically anchoring in a high vibrational frequency.
Got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Great question. All right, guys, we have time for a couple more.
Zach?
Yes.
Can you go back to when you were talking about the stretching? You said you think you spend time in the uncomfortable zone, but you're really in the comfort. Can you touch back on that for me?
Sorry, I confused my words. I apologize. So what I'm saying is that everyone says you got to get out of your comfort zone, and I'm saying I think we want to get into our comfort zone. I think where we're at right now is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable being exhausted. It's uncomfortable being frustrated. It's uncomfortable being broke. It's uncomfortable being depressed, right? So,
yes.
My argument is let's get out of the uncomfort zone into a place of comfort.
Good. Thank you.
So I'm just kind of flipping the script on a little bit, just having a new conversation.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Sure thing. Great question. And yeah, so Kelly and Juan, similar to the mood elevator. Exactly. Any other questions, guys? Any other questions, comments, critical remarks? If they're critical, don't tell me. Just kidding. Open to feedback. Has this been good for you guys? Has this been good for you? Has it been valuable? Okay, awesome. Awesome. Sweet. So, awesome. I'm so glad you guys found value in it. Any other questions? Any other questions or comments or anything like that? I know we covered a lot tonight in a very short period of time. That I know.
Zach, this is Doris. I don't really have a question, but I can't help but express to you my gratitude. I'm so grateful I got on this call tonight because it's exactly what I needed to hear. It's really opened my mind. It's like this little bubble burst in my brain, and it's time to get busy now because I know the reality. It's not people out there. It's not the work. It's nothing. What it is up in here, and I need to change that.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And so I'm just going to invite something, Doris, for you and for everybody else is to let go of the word need. You don't need anything. The only thing that you need, quite frankly, is food, water, and shelter to survive. That's it. You don't need anything, right? Need is built from a place of lack. So if we think about the word need, I need more money. I need to get out of my head. I need to do this. There's this very negative energy that's associated with the word need. And so what I want to invite all of you guys to do is replace the word need with the word deserve. So Doris, you deserve to get on the call tonight. You deserve to have a new experience. You deserve to get on your way. You deserve to take action. Deserve just has such a higher vibration to the word. It has a higher energy, right? So Vasti, going back to energy, that's one of the ways. Our language is huge. Sweet. Awesome. I'm glad, guys. Very cool. Very cool. Somebody said that you guys, somebody said something about weekly Every Thursday, for the most part, almost every single Thursday, I do a Facebook Live that's open I do it on my public timeline at 8:30 Pacific. You guys are welcome to hop on those. I do them every Thursday, and all the archive ones are in my albums on my personal timeline. 8:30 a.m. Pacific. 8:30 a.m. Pacific on Thursdays. Tomorrow morning I'll be on the road, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes while driving. So let's just start to thank you, Sarah, for posting that stuff. Let's oh my gosh, that's crazy. Let's end with this. There's a little quote that I have. I'm going to give you two of them. The first one is this, is that everything that you have, you deserve, and everything that you deserve, you can have. Everything you have, you deserve, and everything you deserve, you can have. And then the other one is this. I'm going to do the PG rated version of it, because I know we have all walks of life here tonight. 8:30 a.m. Pacific. Yes, Monique. Is that the minute you stop believing the BS lies that you tell yourself, is the minute you can be, do, and have everything that you desire and everything that you guys deserve. I absolutely, at the core level of who I am as a person, truly believe that every single individual person is uniquely gifted, talented, and special. And there's absolutely nothing separating you from the person that you are chosen to become, except for the story that you're allowing yourself to take ownership of. So just take out your eraser, scribble it off the page, and start to write something new. And more than anything, just keep on knocking. I love you guys. Thank you so much for having me tonight, and I hope this was valuable for you. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you, Zach. We appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Thanks for hosting, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody, for coming on the call.
Thank you. Good night.
Zach, always.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you so much, Zach. That was awesome.
Thank you.